Hello everyone, it's Peyton
and Anna, and welcome back to our podcast.
Today we're going to be unfolding habits and routines.
I think this is something that people talk about a lot, and again, similar to what we've been talking about with motivation and failure and reframing things, it's not done, you know?
I think this is something that helps me a lot because I actually suffer with self-diagnosed OCD. So I think habits and routines really keep me structured and almost sane in all of this, even my normal day-to-day life and athletics. I think habits and routines are something that everyone should incorporate into their lives. So
yeah, not even those with self-diagnosed. And I would say period. I see it.
Yeah.
I see you in your struggle.
When I say self-diagnosed, my mom told me I have it, so yeah, it's been a struggle, but I've learned to
You've made it to year 20, so you're good. Okay, so we're kind of going to start with why our habit's necessary. You're probably asking, why are you guys even talking about this? This is something that everyone knows and everyone talks about and encourages us to do, but it truly is not just a fluke. You need to be doing it. You always hear consistency is key, and I think that's important in life, in athletics, in your job, in your family. If we have a family of 6 at my house, we need habits, we need consistency, and when we don't, it goes to chaos.
Yeah, I think that we've had a lot of meetings here at Lindenwood and around soccer, around athletics in general, and they always say the word habits, and I don't think I started thinking about it until I got here, but again, self-diagnosed OCD, I've always had routines and everything, but then when I got here, I kind of started focusing a little bit more on them, and then I was like, I don't even know how I was living without doing this. And now I even make a TikTok every morning of my routine.
Get ready with me.
Yeah, it's almost like a habit now to make a TikTok. My mom bought me a tripod. It's what you're on right.
Sorry, just getting really fun.
We're gonna have to check that later. But my mom bought me a tripod. It's what you guys are on right now, and yeah, I think it's just something that's really important. Whether you do play sports, getting those habits in your sport, and then also just in your life that helps you prepare for that sport.
I think it's also a key to success when things are going awry, things are going bad, things are going well, but staying consistent with your habits will be able to be something for you to rely on too. Every day I'm going to wake up, make my bed. That's something that, one, you've accomplished, and one, something will be consistently the same throughout the day no matter what is going on. And I think that's super important too.
Yeah, and I think that's what turns it into a habit, is that you're not even thinking about doing it. It's like a given. You just do it. You're like a robot in the morning, making your bed.
But it's for the better too.
Right.
You're not a bad robot that's gonna take over the world one day, but you're being a robot that's doing something that's gonna make you a better person.
Right.
And make you almost admirable. When I hear of people that are like, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I do this, I'm like, wow, I'm going to be like that. You are so put together and you're so accomplished throughout your day.
Yeah, and I think everyone should have those main pillars. They're this is what I'm going to do. I have to do this. It's not a choice. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even runners and stuff, they get up, they're like, I'm running 5 miles in the morning. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Good for you.
Well, and I think part of it too is using your peers to build your own habits. Even on TikTok, you can see someone doing something and you're like,
yes,
oh, I should be doing that. That's such a good idea. Or even here at school, at soccer, we learn all the time about habits, like Peyton said, making the bed. Dave Musso, he loves
our coach Dave.
Yeah, he loves making a video. He shows us this video of, it's the Navy SEALs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the first thing that they have to do every morning is make their bed, because that's, one, a habit that they're building of, I think it shows responsibility. I think it shows accountability, and it's accomplishing something of the day. No matter what goes on, they've accomplished something.
Yeah, it's the first thing that you have accomplished throughout your day. So even when you just wake up, you've already accomplished a task, and it makes your day even better because you know that you've already done something. And I think making your bed too, it's just a small task, but honestly, it can be turned into a habit that affects your day-to-day life. When I don't make my bed,
I feel like
actually, I don't. I always make my bed. I can't even.
Yeah. I always feel if I don't, because there are times when I don't. I'm not gonna lie. There are times when I don't. But I'll walk into my room later on and especially because Georgia, my roommate, she always makes her bed probably every time, and I look over hers and I'm like, oh shoot, and then I feel bad about myself because I'm it's a mess in here, and my side of the room looks terrible because I didn't make my bed and I didn't accomplish something. So
yeah, and not everyone has roommates, so like it's hard to compare that. But even when you come back home from a long day and you look and your bed's not made and you're just like, ugh.
And then it's all messy and you're like, I have to find this and this and
it's almost like it shows what your day was like. And then when you come back to a made bed, you're like, oh, yes. Like, I can't wait to get in that bed.
Yes.
And anything like that. I've also even tried to, I saw a TikTok that was like, why are you all making your bed when it's still warm and you just got out of it? And so I tried to, like, stop doing it and, like, wait a second. I can't. Like, I genuinely, like, when I get on, you know, because I'm short and we have taller beds, we all have a stool.
Yeah, the same block, all of us.
Yeah, to, like, step on your bed. I stand on it and immediately turn around and start making my bed. Like, it's habit. Like,
it's in her TikToks, too, if you want the proof.
Yeah, go follow me on TikTok to see all of my routines and habits. But I think that's what a habit is that it's like, you don't even think about it, you just do it.
No, it's become like you said, almost robotic, automatic. It's become automatic and you're not even thinking about it. It's become part of your daily routine. And I think that the reason why you need habits is to set yourself up for success for the rest of the day and just to kind of give you a grounding. Yeah. And I think that's why they're so important.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about how to incorporate habits and routines into our lives, which I think a routine is just kind of a bunch of habits that are just made together throughout your day. Yeah. Or like or a set time. Yeah. Would be a routine. So here's a quote we got from James Clear, and he writes, Atomic Habits. So 66 days to turn behavior into a habit. And I've never like thought of this. I've never thought about like how many days it takes for me to do something without thinking about it. But that does sound about right. I can't remember exactly what days I started making my bed every morning, obviously.
Mine was definitely freshman year. I was looking embarrassed to like leave my bed unmade, and Maddie would be my old roommate, she would just be like, oh, this girl's messy little pigsty over there. So honestly, that's when I started making my bed. But
I think mine was probably this year, honestly. Like, I think I did it maybe towards the end of my freshman year, but Allison, which is my roommate, she always made her bed, but I never really, I was just like, eh.
Mine was definitely a self-conscious. I was just like, ugh, which brought me to the habits of today. So
yeah, so I think that's a good way to incorporate habits into your life, is seeing everyone else do it. But obviously we want to be our own person. Yeah. So I think
it's in more of admiration. Yeah, like true. You're admiring that they're able to wake up and accomplish that, and also it makes you feel good to accomplish something and have your bed made. Like when someone walks into your room, they're like, oh, it looks nice in here, and I feel like half of the battle right there is having your bed made. So
I also think just habits stem from something you like doing. So like you like receiving compliments. I mean, everyone likes receiving compliments.
No,
not just
I'm a fisher.
Fisher. Yeah, but everyone likes receiving compliments. So, you know, when you clean your room, someone's going to walk in and be like, oh, it smells nice in here. That's what Anna at least does to me when I clean my room. But I think that is something. So peer motivated is something that incorporates habits into your routine. But I also think just what you enjoy incorporates that into your routine. So I'll just say one of my habits right now is just like I like to read before bed, which for one, I saw somewhere that it's healthy for you not to be on your phone right before, like I think 30 minutes before bed is what it said. Yeah. When I'm reading though, I get in this hole, it turns into like 2 hours.
It's a realm, the reading realm.
The good habit turns into a bad habit because I'm like staying up so late. But
it happens to all of us.
That is something I've learned that I enjoy doing, and it's good for me. So I think that is a way to incorporate habits into your routine, is just like finding something you like. And even though we're talking like we play sports and this podcast is centered around sports, I don't think necessarily your habits have to revolve around sports in order for it to help you in the long run. So like since I'm reading before bed, I'm technically getting quality sleep, like more quality sleep, which is setting me up for success for the next day already.
Yeah, because you're already calm and you're doing something that you enjoy. Like you enjoy reading, and you're going to be in a good headspace going into the sleep, and then the sleep, and then you'll wake up and you'll start it again. And honestly, that's also something that you can look forward to going forward. And I also think a huge part of that is accountability and keeping yourself, keeping track of the goals that you have, and not the goals, the habits. And I think even though we're going to talk kind of about the goals and habit correlation, but I think that even writing down, if you're starting a new habit, doing just a simple checklist, like did I make my bed this morning, or did I fold this laundry, or did I, just the things that you want to do. And everyone's habits are going to be different depending on what their situation is like, where they live, and kind of who they're accountable for too, because someone that has children, a parent, they're not going to have the same habits as one of us who's a current college student. And even like my 10-year-old sister, she's going to have completely different habits compared to me, 10 years difference. So I have totally different responsibilities, but regardless, I think it would be super helpful for everyone to have a whiteboard or just a notebook somewhere that's easily accessible, because that can also help your habit building, because you're going to build that habit to keep yourself accountable, and it just keeps spiraling, and you'll want to have more habits because it makes you feel accomplished and it makes you feel better. So I think that that's also a huge part of it.
And I think people like checking off things that they do.
Satisfying.
I used to try to do that, but again, I didn't keep up with it for about 66 days.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that is something too. You have to keep at it. Like, creating a habit is a lot harder than people realize. Like, I think eating healthy is a good habit to like take into this. You know, whenever I'm eating healthy throughout the week, I feel like by Saturday I deserve ice cream. So that's technically breaking the habit. That's not like that's
so
just
it's a weird balance and correlation.
Yeah.
To that.
I think like that's just the behavior at that point, because I broke the habit. But you know,
it's also like just like trying to make yourself feel good too that you did accomplish. I think that kind of habit is more almost a goal and a routine of like mini habits, but like it's almost like a scheduled habit.
Yeah.
Because I do think that a lot of people, like certain weeks they'll have, or certain days, like even didn't you do like a calorie, like one day you'll do less calories and another day you'll do more calories or something?
It was carbs.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
so
it was like a diet.
Yeah, so it's like a scheduled, and that's still a habit, I think, in the way that you're going about it, and it still was something that you accomplished. And also I think even though you were doing something different every day, I do think it was still a habit because you were consciously thinking about it.
True.
And like it was something that you were trying to make normalized for you, which I think
it was a behavior I was trying to make into a habit.
Yeah. And I think also you have to stop making excuses so much, because I will always be like I'm going to be totally open that I used to journal, I stopped journaling, would pick it up again.
Me too. We did that together, and
it's all over the place. And then I would just, like, the reason I stopped is because I was like, oh, I'm too tired, I don't really want to do that right now, or like, nothing really happened today, I'll just not do it. But in the long run, it's so good for you to be able to reflect and digress kind of what happened during the day, and it gets you, similar to reading, it gets you in a similar safe and like healthy headspace, because you're reflecting internally. It's all about you, and it allows you to prepare for the next day too. Like the journal I had, it even had like a quote in it, and I feel like that was just such a nice way for me. And it's not that I hated doing it, I just didn't, I was being lazy. Like, that's when it came down to it. I was making excuses and I was being lazy. And I think,
and now it's a habit to not journal.
Yeah, that's why so it's like a full circle, and now I just go to bed like the normal person. I actually don't really have any habits going to bed, which now is like bad and something that I want to grow on and be better at, but at the same time it's hard, like we talked about, and all these ways that we're talking about to incorporate them. They're simple words that we're saying, but it's not that easy.
I like that you said habits are like accountability, because that is exactly what it is. That it's a behavior for 66 days that turns into a habit.
Yeah, and that's how you want to be able to recognize yourself, and how you, because you at the end of the day dictate who you are, and these habits I think are a part of how you develop and who you are in your life and in every single thing that you do, because no matter whether you realize it or not, you've created habits and they are present in everything that you're doing. Like we were talking about one that we think athletics involved a lot, and that was being timely.
Yes.
Like athletics has brought that upon us, and whether we liked it or not, now like
we're going to be thinking about that for the rest of our lives. Like if we have a set time that we need to be there, we're going to think we're late if we're 10 minutes early. Like
well, I know I'm a freak about this.
Anna is a freak about this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very good with this still.
Yeah.
But Anna holds me accountable, so once
I go sit in their room when I'm ready to leave, and then they like, it freaks me out when we're not leaving, like right when I wanted to leave, and then I start to freak out, but then I have to do some self-talk, and I'm like, it's okay, it will work out, and we'll be there eventually.
She's timely OCD. Like she'll be sitting in my room, and then it's like 12:30. She's like, we need to leave at 12:37, and I'm like,
yeah. Okay. Well, and it took me a long time to even give some minutes. Like we used to go to lift at like we would leave at 12:30, and that's when I like needed to leave. And then Peyton and our roommate Georgia, it'd be like I knew they were so annoyed. And then eventually I started to just chill a little bit. And you need to find the balance in those habits too, because we didn't need to be there 30 minutes early. Like we can't warm up till the whole team gets there. There's nothing we could do. And I was stressing myself out and making this habit a negative habit rather than a positive habit. And I think that that's what you also have to be careful of when you're incorporating these habits.
Mm-hmm.
But we also, when you're incorporating them, you kind of have to know the difference between them. So we were kind of discussing prior to this that there's daily, monthly, weekly habits, those types of things. And also you have different habits according to what you want to accomplish with that habit.
Mm-hmm. I think a daily habit would just be journaling, which Anna mentioned earlier. And then I think weekly habits, I like to do just a little bit of a self-reflection. So, as another daily habit would be crossing off your days on your calendar, which we all have a calendar that's hanging up. Yours is a little more in detail than mine.
Yeah, mine's definitely one of my, that was one of the habits I wrote down. Every single morning I wake up and I cross that thing off.
Yeah, and mine's just like a printed calendar that someone gave me. I didn't even make it. Anyway, I crossed it off, and I think at the end of the week I like to just kind of look back at my week and like seeing all the things. We talked a little bit about this in motivation, our motivational podcast, but it was like, at the end of the week, I like to reflect and kind of look at everything I've accomplished, because our days are jam-packed. Like, I kind of look at it and I'm like, dang, that is crazy.
Like, even at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. And then you don't have time to reflect because you're so tired. And then by the end of the week, I think that's a good way to kind of reflect because you're so tired during the week. And honestly, our least busy days are probably like the weekends.
Yeah.
And then that's a good time, I think, before your next cycle starts of the week, where you have classes, you have soccer obligations, you have work, whatever you need to do. And I think that when you can take that time and do that, I think you find yourself being centered and more present with yourself, which I think is super important in habits.
Yeah, I agree. I think a monthly habit, this also kind of has to do with reflection, but I like to look at this is really millennial of me, but my Snapchat memories. I like to take a lot of pictures, so I feel like looking at your monthly habits, it's kind of like seeing where you were at the beginning of the month, and especially in these spring seasons, I like to look to see how pale I was at the beginning of the month and seeing how much sun I got throughout the month. And
don't worry, we're looking nice and burnt now.
Yeah, I'm getting a nice tan. I'm not going to take off this Apple Watch because it's really bad. My sock tan, very prominent. I wonder if you could see it.
It's not as bad as normal.
Yeah.
Normally it's pretty bad.
It's kind of a permanent sock tan. So, struggle is real.
Yeah. Also, the legs aren't that nice just from their socks, but it's fine. We'll get there.
Oh my
eventually.
gosh, you've been showing off that bruise. I didn't. Gnarly.
Yeah, that's what I get instead of the tan. The bruises. It's fun. Habits of taking care of myself. I iced that bad boy, so I'm chill.
Yeah, that's good.
But I also think that you can look at it, because these are, I think, a lot of habits that we're talking about that are more about, like, mental habits that I think are better about self-development. But I also think that it's important to recognize, like, brushing your teeth is a habit that we all do, that we all have a habit of, but that's still important. Something that similar is making your bed. Like, it has all of these habits, even though they might be physical or mental based, they're all going to impact you and your success of the day. So even a weekly habit could be like doing your laundry on the same day every week, or people that do like Sunday resets. That's a habit.
Ooh.
Wanting to reset their room, do a deep clean, set everything up, or even go buy like a bouquet of flowers once a week.
Literally asking, back to the Sunday reset, asking any single person that participates in that, they definitely would say that it sets them up for a good week. That's the whole point of it being on Sunday, I think. And like Sunday is normally people's least busy day.
Yeah.
But that definitely sets everything up for the week. And if you ask them if they skipped, they're probably just like, yeah, it was the worst week ever. Like everything was so dirty. I was so off all week. Like, it is your mindset, and then it's also your physical well-being, because you feel filthy and you just feel bad about yourself. So.
I also think another habit that we could touch on is connecting with people. Like, once a month.
I was thinking about that.
I think that or even once a week, if you prioritize calling someone that you haven't talked to in a while, or even texting and reaching out and just being like, hey, I was thinking of you, like, what's going on? Hope you're doing well, or something like that. I think that would, again, be something so socially well for you, mentally well for you, and it would just put a pep in your step if you hear from someone that you haven't heard to in a while and you really like them, you're just not around them that much.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, especially us going to college and going away from, like, our friends and family that we see every single day. Like, even, I text my grandma every single night that good night, love you, and sweet dreams. But
sweet dreams.
My friends
and sugar plums.
Yeah. She sends me, like, GIFs back and, like, emojis, but it's not, like, 3 emojis. It's, like,
the
3
whole,
lines of emoji, and it's awesome. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Love it. But I can't even look at the whole message on my Apple Watch because it's so many emojis. Yeah. But anyway, then... And my grandma is someone who's obviously, she's older and she doesn't use her phone very much. And I think it's interesting to see that I text her every day, but then my friends who are the same age as me, who I went to all my schools with before now, I don't talk to them. Like, my friend Kaylee, I probably text her 3 times a semester, which is like, she goes to one of our neighboring schools. Like, it's not even like we're that far, but we're just living such different lives. But, you know, when I do talk to her, it's awesome. Like, I'm like, oh, I miss you so much. Like, can't wait till the summer. Because I'm like, we're just so busy.
Just pushing up.
Lives. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Even, I know Allison, our roommate, her friend goes to Kentucky for school, and every week on, like, Friday or something, they'll send each other pictures of what happened throughout the week to, like, touch base. Cool. I know.
That's a good habit.
I told my sister that we need to start doing that, but guess what?
Didn't happen.
We didn't do it for 66 days, and it was just a behavior. Actually, I don't think we even did it once. But
okay, well, you had the idea, and maybe you can start... Well, I guess summer soon, so you won't really need to. But
anyway... The next thing, good habits should lead you to accomplishing goals. So I think that's a good way to tell whether a habit is good or bad, is have a goal in mind. And then if your habits aren't really progressing you towards that goal, then it's probably not a good one.
Yeah. I think habits are the key just to success in general. And it's like almost medicinal to be able to rely on something like we've mentioned and just have, again, the accomplishment feeling. And I think that creating a habit can be a goal itself. Like, maybe let's say 66 days. Like, you wake up and you're like, okay, I need to start doing this. So you start doing it. Make your goal 66 days away. And you could have that as being your goal of accomplishment. Because we kind of have talked about goals when we were talking about motivation and the power of them. Because you also need to kind of incorporate that with failure, too. Because you also have to have a sense of self-recognition where if you're trying to start a habit and it's not working, you're not failing, but you also need to recognize, should I try this habit or do I need to tweak it and make it more applicable for me?
Right.
Because I think that that's important also in goal making, because are you going to accomplish that goal if it's not the SMART goal that I had mentioned? And I think that the habits that lead up to that are also what's going to allow you to accomplish that goal. Because if you're not regularly doing something, that goal is unattainable. You're not going to be able to do it.
Right. And I think you could even make this one, I'm going to make this one soccer specific. So I think, you know, a habit that, say you want to get better at dribbling, okay? And you go to the field every day and you shoot on the goal, okay? That is a good habit, but it's not a good habit if you're not working towards your goal. Like, you're not getting better at dribbling, which is what you need to work on. Like, if your coach tells you you need to work on dribbling and you go out to the field every day and you're like, well, I went out to the field every single day and I worked on soccer, but you didn't work on what exactly would help you achieve that goal, then that's not a good habit for you. Even if you think it's a good habit, which it is a good habit to go to the field and shoot and play soccer, which is what you're working towards, it's not a good habit for you. It's maybe for someone else.
I think that could be said with almost anything too. I think one struggle that I think a lot of people have is eating breakfast. And I think that that's a habit because it's proven, unless it's on a certain diet plan that you're going through, and people are always different, but I do think that it's proven that breakfast is a good way for your metabolism just to get your day started. It's something that's good to add into your habit. But I also think that you shouldn't eat just a piece of bread for anything is better, but also you have to find that balance because you're completing the habit, but are you really completing the habit?
You shouldn't eat 5 pieces of bread.
No. You need to find a good way to express this habit to then reach that goal of, maybe you have fitness goals or maybe you have nutritional goals that you're trying to reach, but if you're eating one stale piece of bread or like one grape as your breakfast, is that really helping you reach your goal of whatever nutritional or whatever just mental well-being you want to be in? Whoever is listening or whoever has that goal, I think that's something like breakfast you need to kind of recognize. Are you really fulfilling that habit, or are you just checking off a checklist like we talked about?
True.
Because those lists are just, they're satisfying, but if you really don't mean it that you're checking, like if you don't fulfill it, is it really checking it off?
And I also think that has to go with doing your research. I think people just, I know social media is a big thing, and I've mentioned it many times in this, that I saw something on social media. Is it true?
Who knows?
Don't know. I'd have to dive deeper.
Who knows?
But I think, like, if you really want a good habit, something you need to do is research. So, like, nutritional stuff. I've researched eating breakfast in the morning, and it's just, like, a good breakfast. Because I was like, is eating breakfast better for you than, like, just eating lunch and dinner? Like, and actually, if you eat breakfast, it wakes up your metabolism.
Yes.
So that is something that will help you throughout the day. You know, if you're trying to achieve, like, lowering your body fat, well, you could still eat breakfast. Like, it's waking up your metabolism, and then just eating a little bit better. Like, not eating 5 pieces of bread, 1 piece of stale bread. Like, if you're not eating anything in the morning, then it's just kind of like, at lunch, you're probably going to eat more than what you would have.
Yeah, so and we're not experts on any of this. Like,
no.
We have no idea what we're talking about with that. But at the same time, it's the same concept. Like, the concept of, is the habit positive, and is it going to help you achieve the goals that you have? Because in the end, that's what matters. And breakfast or not, you should be trying to better yourself in the long run and become the best version of yourself. And by creating these small habits that are overall going to help you achieve these bigger goals that you have, and just make you overall a more well-rounded, happy person, that's what you need to focus on when you're making these habits.
Yeah. And it's not even like, not everything is about food, you know, researching good drills to do to achieve something. That is something that's going to lead you to accomplishing goals. And then, like, seeing progress in, like, maybe a sprint workout or something like that, seeing like one of your models or someone you look up to doing that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe one of your favorite soccer players or one of your favorite sports players doing a drill, and, like, them talking about the drill, talking about how they get better all the time, even watching documentaries over them. Like, you're learning about something or someone that you look up to, and you're obtaining these good habits. Even if you don't think you are.
Yeah. So we kind of have already talked about how we think that these habits have kind of helped translate from athletics to the real world. And a lot of the people that are listening, and a lot of people that we know that are in our circles, are also have been athletes or have been involved in sports. And I think that is another extremely positive attribute that we've kind of talked about, like, because we had already mentioned sort of in another episode how being an athlete kind of gives you just a head start, I think, and it gives you a lot of positive traits. And I think that habit building is one of them. Like, we talked about timely, I think accountability, that type of habit, that attribute of making habits is something that I think athletes can carry into their everyday life very well. And timeliness is one of them. And then also one of the habits I have is just folding my clothes before the game in the locker room, because I want to feel clean, and this is our space, and I want it to feel safe and like clean, and I want that to translate as I'm getting older. And then being a part of a team, I think, is part of that too, because your habits, some of them will impact the people around you. And as you're transitioning to be a part of a family, or as you're starting to grow your own family unit, you kind of can take those habits that you've learned and the skills that you've learned as an athlete and take them into your next future of life.
I think motivation is even a good one. It's a good habit that athletes have, and we've been like, you know, it's a behavior that turned into a habit. And I think motivation is something, and I think one of my sports habits I wrote down was doing my hair. And I think this is something that, because I'm so excited for what's about to happen, or like, you know, game day, whatever, I want my hair to look cute, because, well, my saying is that if I look good, I play good. And I think that's something that, it's almost like a willpower. Like, I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, like, I'm so excited to do my hair today. And it's kind of like, distract me from the game, but then also I'm like put together, I'm ready. Like it kind of puts me in this mind space or this headspace that I'm like ready for soccer. It like prepares me for the soccer game, and I like listen to my music. I like get in the zone.
You do the same for class too.
I do the same thing for class. Like I like to dress up, especially on days. I did this in high school. Every day I would have a test. I would literally like wake up, curl my hair, pick out a nice outfit, and people that around me knew that I had a test that day. They were like, "Oh, what test do you have today?" I was like, "Oh, biology." They're like, "You look cute." I was like, "Yeah, like look good, test good." You know what I mean? Like it's just something. It's like a will. To like want to be good, want to do good, and like it's a habit that I'm just like I do this all the time because it sets me up to succeed.
Yeah, I think that we can thank athletics for that, and I think that being a part of a sport and having people around you too, like we want, like our coach Dave, he is so big on this that I think it has kind of also forced me to be more focused, like you said. Like you've noticed more when you're here that you have thought about it so consciously more, and surrounding yourself with other people that have habits that want to grow and be better will help you moving forward, not only better yourselves, but if everyone can have a habit and be basically performing what we're preaching, it'd be a great world, and we'd all be happy and we'd all be thriving and living our best lives. And I think that we can take the skills we learned here and kind of take them forward.
I agree. And then also I think an important thing to learn about a habit is that, you know, once you do it every single day, you kind of think, oh, I can just miss this one time and it won't affect me. But this is actually another quote from James Clear, which Atomic Habits again. We actually haven't read the book, but I really want to. I just found these on the internet. So we were like, oh, you should read that, because we've definitely heard of it. I've heard of it, but
I've definitely seen quotes from it, and I've heard both of these quotes before, but we found them when we were looking.
So here's another quote by him: "Missing one is an accident, and missing twice is the start of a habit." So even missing a habit. So like we were talking about her journaling, you know, she missed one day, and now it's turned into a habit of her not journaling.
Just don't do it anymore.
Do you open the drawer that your journal is in and then just look at it?
No, it's the same drawer that my book is in, and I was recently reading, but I just finished my book, so I was obviously going to pick the book over the journal. And then I've just been really stressed with homework lately, and like I just should be doing that. So then, I don't know, I just have a lot of bad habits when it comes to homework. Like if I don't want to do it, I'll be like, oh, I can't read because I need to do homework. But then I'm like, I don't want to do homework, so I'll just go on my phone. And it's like, it's just a cycle of bad habits that I'm aware of that I need to get better at, but so no, I don't even really consider it anymore as a thing to be doing. So
I actually used to journal too, and my journal is also in the same drawer as my reading, and I look at it every day. Like every time I pull out the drawer to get my book to read at night, I'm like, well, I guess not tonight.
Mine's a cabinet, so I don't have to like stare. I just like reach in there and grab my book.
No, see, I look at it.
So the conscious decision to not. It's fine. As we're talking about that and kind of how we've kind of related not doing something to creating bad habits, like me not journaling is a bad habit, and I recognize that, but also I don't prioritize that or really care enough right now, which is also bad to say, but it is true. Like right now I'm like, it's finals week next week, and honestly this is probably the time I should start to do it, but it's okay. We'll get to it at a different time.
Relieve some stress.
But I think that we're thinking of those bad habits. So how do we get away from the bad habits that we've created? I first think that you need to address that. You need to address what the bad habit is and how you're going to combat that.
I think self-awareness is the key, like the key to everything. And like one of my bad habits that I have is picking my nails. So how I tried to combat that was I started painting my nails like every 2 weeks or something. I would go home and paint them because my nails were at the point where they were bleeding all the time. And I actually only pick my nails when I'm playing soccer, which is so weird. So during the winter time, they're long. And during the summertime, even, they're a little bit longer because summer soccer doesn't stress me out like normal soccer. But so I tried to combat it. They are a little bit longer. However, now it's gotten to the point that when they start chipping, I kind of just pick at the nail so that it gets shorter with the nail polish so it doesn't look like it chipped. But I think like you might not think that's that bad of a habit, you know, but it's something I'm focusing on, and I'm like not even staying present in the moment. Like when I'm playing soccer, I'm focusing on picking my nail. Like I should be freaking playing. Go get the soccer ball. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, one of mine I would say is probably just not doing my laundry regularly. I let it overflow heavy, and it's then I'll have to do 4 loads. So why did I do that to myself? So I need to address that. And then, but I've also never taken the step, because every week is different, which you have to recognize, but also the changes, that's the thing about habits too that we kind of have already mentioned. The changes in your life shouldn't really affect some of these habits that you're making. So regardless, unless I'm like out of town or something, which that's where you have to give yourself grace. But at the same time, like I should make a weekly habit of every day on this day I need to do laundry. Where instead it goes like, oh, I don't need that yet. And now that we don't have soccer, I'll probably let it go even longer, because I don't know, it doesn't impact, like I doesn't have my clothes, but in reality I should have a routine and a schedule, because then I can create more habits that kind of stem from that. Like I'll put my laundry away, I'll listen to some music during that time to kind of let myself kind of just decompress and reset. But first I would need to address that, okay, this is getting out of hand. And the time that I would address that is probably when I'm dragging my laundry basket and things start falling out while I'm taking it into the laundry room. And then after that, you need to make almost a goal of this habit for yourself. That's when you can write, like let's say for 4 weeks. 4 weeks straight, I want to do laundry on this Sunday, and just go from there. And I think that's the second step after addressing. You have to make yourself the goal to accomplish the habit.
Right. And I also think you said a little bit earlier, you were just like, oh, it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't have to affect you to where you could see that it's affecting you, but if you were to do your laundry like you said, then every single time, like, you'll just feel better. And you didn't even know you felt bad. You didn't know it was affecting you, but you just, like, now that you're doing it, you feel more, like, better taken care of. Like, you're taking care of yourself more, and that's something that obviously everyone deserves. And I think, like, creating that habit is something that is so, like, needed.
I think reframing why you should be making the habit. Like, one of the reasons I don't like to do laundry is because it stresses me out, because I'm gonna have to go down to the room and, like,
it's hot
check. It's hot in there. It's dirty. I feel gross when I'm doing my laundry, and then who knows if it's going to even be open. And even when I'm at my own house, it stresses me out, because everyone does their own laundry. Everyone has a bad habit of just throwing everyone else's clothes. It's just all so stressful. But instead of, when I'm thinking of trying to make a habit about making my laundry weekly, I'm thinking, I'm going to be stressed for one. Like, this is going to stress me out so much, I'm not going to do it. Where I should be saying, oh, that'll be nice to have all my clothes put away.
It'll be nice to have it done.
And it'll be a reframe of why I'm not doing the habit. You need to reframe it and say why I should be doing the habit. And like you said, even though it's not impacting me directly because I'm not doing it, I should think of what it could be doing to my life if I did start doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really important to, like, realize. And that's, again, with the, you know, seeing, like, self-diagnosis and, like, seeing how something could affect you so much. Again, like, she'd be stressed for what? How long does laundry take? Like 2 hours?
Yeah, maybe? And once I go down to that room and get washers, it's like,
I'm like, oh, it wasn't even that bad. Yeah. And, you know, you set a timer, you go do something else, come back. Like, I think laundry is one of the easiest. Now, putting it away, totally different. Hate that. I like doing laundry, but putting it away, it's like the thought of putting it away. But once it's put away, I look at, like, I open my drawer and it's like full of all my clothes. I'm like, yes.
Like pulling all your hangers
I'm like, oh yes, my favorite pair of PJs, they're washed.
And they're like the fresh smell too, like, because I load that bad boy up with my, like, mellow booster of, like, the scent, so it smells good. Because
the washers here,
they smell so bad and they have mold in them.
Not good.
Don't recommend.
I think if anything that we would want you to take away from this episode, it would be to be encouraged to add even the simplest habits to your daily lives. I think adding habits to your daily lives is more important than adding it to, like, your monthly or weekly lives, because I think those are a little bit easier to forget about and then feel bad about because you have to wait another 4 weeks to do that habit. I think just trying to add one thing at a time to your daily life can make you feel so much better, whether it's journaling, reading. You know, a lot of people don't even know that they enjoy reading until they try it.
And they find what they like to do.
For a while. And finding what you want to do as a habit and how it would obtain to your goals is really important.
And finding the encouragement to do that, because once you set that one habit, like making your bed, we want everyone to start making their bed. And we know it's hard. Like, I honestly have a hard time going from school because when I go back home, I don't make my bed. I can tell you that right now.
Same.
And it's because it's a routine change. I'm totally moving different places. Like,
your environment is changing.
Yes. And if I'm in a hotel, I don't make my bed. It's literally only in the dorm. But like we said, that shouldn't change. So I think everyone should try and make their bed and see how that feels. See how it makes you feel about your day, about your week. Because if you continue to do it, I think it'd make wonderful changes in many people's lives, and it will encourage you to try and add more. And it pushes you out of your comfort zone too, because even people that don't normally have habits every day, being able to start that and kind of create that habit in itself to create those habits, I think will just make everyone so much more organized and feel so much more accomplished. And that's kind of what we want. We want you guys to feel that way too, how we feel when we see our beds made every single day.
I also think if you already make your bed, because I know that's pretty common, I want you guys to start getting ready in the morning, getting ready for the day, because I'm telling you, when I get ready for the day, I feel so put together and like I'm ready to face anything. And that's even just like, when I say get ready, I'm not saying like put on a freaking prom dress or like do your hair. I'm saying brush your hair.
Yeah.
Brush your teeth.
Change out of your pajamas.
Wash your face. Do your face care routine. I even started gua shine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do whatever makes you happy, because I don't do any of that, but I still do get up and.
But she gets ready like how I get she ready normally gets ready. I'm saying like have a morning routine and then stick to it. I'm not saying you have to gua sha, but I'm just saying like that's something that I really like to do. I even bring it on sleepovers now, so not that I sleep over
I was gonna say
many times, but we had one last night, and I didn't bring it, so I'm not sure why.
That's fine. we're honest here, but if either of those don't work, just come up with something that you want to do and let us know what it was, because
let us know your habits that you're going to try out, and we're going to hold you to them for 66 days, because if you don't do it, it's just a behavior.
Yep. So. Well, thank you guys for unfolding habits with us.
See you next week.
Bye, everyone.